We're still talking about the overall teaching of block destruction, and this is going to be part 3, all right? So we've talked a little bit about the separation aspect, right? We want to be able to separate to create clarity. I want to be able to extend myself and play on the offensive lineman's, all right, side of the ball, okay? The next part we talked about was the wiper, okay? That's when, just like windshield wipers, we want to take the offensive lineman's body, put him in the opposite gap, and put our eyes in our gap, snapping our bicep, okay, or excuse me, our chin to our bicep, down around and through our gap to be able to show our gap responsibility to the linebackers in our run fits, all right? Part 3 right here, okay, is going to be about the clear. Why do I have my man jumping and bungee jumping into some water? That's because this is where we bungee jump to go ahead and make the play, all right? This is where we explode right into the running back, right into the quarterback's face, right into the wide receiver's face on a speed sweep, whatever it may be, all right? To be able to step away from our block in a violent fashion, create that space, that distance with a disengage, all right? To be able to go ahead and make a play. So when we talk about the clear, all right, that's the step, all right, for, here's this word again, separation. That's the step for separation away from the offensive lineman with the violent disengage of the arm, okay? And sometimes that could be after we've set an edge and we're going ahead and we're working back with an arm over drop step in order to make a tackle for either a 1-yard or a 0-yard gain. Or that could be when we dictate daylight, seeing down around and through our gap, boom, and we're able to go ahead and create separation by stepping away, snapping into that running back, and then going ahead and making the play. But the clear portion is so important. When guys don't take that 6-inch, that 8-inch step to be able to get off of that block after they've created separation, after they've had the wiper, okay? Sometimes it just doesn't happen well where the offensive lineman runs their feet, the defensive lineman stays stationary, and now we're knocked and toppled over. We don't like that. As a defensive lineman, you should never end a play blocked. Whether you make the play or don't make the play, you should never, ever end a play blocked, all right? Let's check this out. So we talked about the separation. This is a heck of a job by 13, all right? Exploding into that pad. Then we go ahead and we see down around and through our gap. This portion right here is the clear, all right? By being able to take that 6-inch step, by being able to rip and or arm over off of that block, it gives him the ability to explode into this pad. It gives him the ability to be able to run his feet, and it allows him to be able to go ahead and make a play. If he was to go ahead and just drop his arms right now, the offensive lineman would grab him, accelerate his feet, and look to finish him with a pancake or a nasty into the ground. Because he goes ahead and he uses a post arm, he goes ahead and takes that other arm away with a block disengage by ripping, okay? And he takes this 6-inch portion step towards the running back, all right? It puts him in an excellent position to be able to go ahead and make this play. All right, you see this in multiple parts of this play right here. But first, I want to start with 17, all right? So we're getting this counter look right here, all right? Or this power look right here, excuse me, okay? And then you're getting this hinge block, all right? So as you get this hinge block right here, okay, we know for sure, all right, that he's going to go ahead and he's going to step down. He's going to look to seal this defensive end off, okay? And as this thing happens, we want to create separation. Now, we've created separation, okay? Next is we want to have the wiper where we're seeing down around and through our gap, which 17 naturally does, okay? And last, we want to create the clear. The clear has to be violent. When he steps away and he goes ahead and he works this offensive lineman into this opposite gap, propelling his body into his gap, all right? So you can see the offensive lineman go to his knees. Why is that? Because there's violence in the way that we go about our block destruction. There's violence in the way that we use our hand to separate from this grown man attempting to keep us from all of our goals, which is encapsulated by the ball carrier, okay? So as soon as he goes ahead and he violently disengages, he's able to lay out for this play, get the ball on the ground, and essentially be able to make a huge play for our defense. We might be a man short right here. Who knows, all right? Schematically, we might be put in a bad position, but because guys are working through their block destruction progression in the correct way, we're able to make this play all the way on the backside by a guy who's a number that was probably not accounted for. All right? So again, heck of a job by the separation from 17. Heck of a job seeing down around and through his gap. But then a more impressive job of being able to clear, take his body, put it in the opposite gap, come over the top with a disengage, a 6-inch step for separation, and an acceleration towards the ball carrier. Similar thing happens right here, okay? We're able to go ahead and we're able to set the edge, all right, on a wide zone or a stretch play, okay? And as soon as this thing is done right here, we want to make sure we're seeing down, around, and through our gap, okay, at an acute angle. When you see down, around, and through your gap, and you're able to set the edge and make it bubble back, the next thing that we want to be able to do as an edge guy is we want to be able to drop step, okay? Being able to work back on our side of the line of scrimmage, and then understand the fact that we can make this play for a 1-yard gain, okay? If I'm able to make this play for a 1-yard gain, instead of having it hitting a gap where somebody's eyes might not be, that's the best thing about being able to go from primary to secondary. As defensive linemen, your responsibility is always going to be within your primary gap, whether you're in a react and attack phase, which we play, or when we also play an attack and react phase. Okay, so we're playing both sides in both phases of the technique kind of world. All right, but by you being able to take not only one gap, but being able to take 2 gaps, it helps out the defensive guys on the back end because it takes a lot of stress off of them, all right? By the defensive lineman being able to wad things up, the safeties are happy, the linebackers are happy, whoever else is in the fit is happy, okay? So we set this edge, all right, by seeing the ball, by setting the edge as deep as the ball, never deeper, okay, at an acute angle. Right now we're seeing this ball right here and understanding that this thing's about to go ahead and cut up. We see this linebacker's working. We see he's working right here to be able to get into the fit. But how about let's be a big guy? How about let's be a leader? How about let's be aggressive, all right, and violently come back over the top with our arm over, with our drop step, which is extremely important right there, okay, and then be able to go ahead and finish and work through, all right, to be able to get that ball on the ground. So this is a heck of a job by 17 of being able to set this edge, all right, being able to drop step, being able to work back over with this arm over, because if you just drop your arms, you'll get ran by, okay, or slammed into the dirt, and then being able to get this ball into the ground, all right, for maybe not even a 1-yard gain, okay? So when we go ahead and we work those 3 things, which is the separation, okay, the wiper, and the clear, you combine them, all right? If you don't have violence, okay, they won't work. But if you have violence in each portion of these block destruction progressions, okay, you'll put yourself in the best predicament possible to be successful.